Yo, what's going on? Man, I'm back again with another video. Your fall midterm, part 2, 1 through 16 for unit 2. Alright, this is different from unit 1. That was 1 through 14 for unit 1. This is 1 through 16 for unit 2. So, hey man, I hope this helps. And good luck. Alright, right here, factor each polynomial completely. This first one, guys, this is called the difference of perfect squares. If you notice, 25x squared is a perfect square. 25 is a perfect square, so is that squared? 16 is a perfect square. So if you remember, the difference of perfect squares equation is a squared minus b squared equals a plus b. Notice they're not squared anymore, so you find the square root of each one, and a minus b. Okay, a plus b and a minus b. So we're going to find the square root of 25x squared. The square root of 25x squared is going to be 5x. So 5x will be a. And the square root of 16 is going to be 4. So b is 4. So what I have here is 5x plus b, 4, and 5x minus 4. There we go. Number 2. Alright, we have a cubic function. Alright, with this one, we're going to factor out the GCF. Alright, factor out the GCF. So the GCF here is going to be 2x. So I factor out 2x. I have x squared. Alright, this one again, GCF is what I factored out first. I have x squared minus 3x minus 40. Okay. Now, here, guys, you got to figure out what are two factors of negative 40 that will add to give me negative 3. So factors, again, look at this. See, the leading coefficient right here is 1. That's why we can do this, is because the leading coefficient is 1. So again, I look at the negative 40. What are the factors of negative 40 that will add to give me negative 3? All right, so you have, let's see, 8 times negative 5, right? You have negative 5 times 8, right? Anyway, I add that 8 minus 5 is 3. Negative 8, negative 5 plus 8. Oh, I did the same thing. Look at that. How about this? Negative 8. Times 5. There we go. Negative 8 plus 5 is negative 3. So here's our factors. Negative 8 and 5. So I have x minus 8, x minus 5. So, nope, I did that wrong. X minus 8, x plus 5. There we go. Negative positive. So negative positive. Okay. There we go. Right there. Those are our factors. Alright, right here again, you can factor out the GCF. Alright, the GCF here is going to be 5. So I have x to the 4th plus 2x squared minus 3. So again, what are two factors that multiply to give me negative 3? And those same two factors add to give me 2. Positive 2. So we have negative 3 times 1. And we have positive 3 times 1. Negative 3, negative 1, excuse me. Negative 3 times 1 is going to be, if I add it, that's negative 2. and 3 minus 1, or 3 plus negative 1 is going to be positive 2. All right, positive 2. So those are our factors, 3 and negative 1. So we have, notice right here, I got to make x to the 4th. So I'm going to go x squared times x squared. All right. So you have x squared plus 3 and x squared minus 1. Now, this one, we can take a step further. This is the difference of two squares, like that very first problem right here. All right, so I have 5 times x squared plus 3. And then here, because of the difference of two squares, I can go x plus 1 and x minus 1. All right, there's the two squares, just like that, okay? All right, right here we have the sum of perfect squares, sum of perfect squares. All right, well, the rule for the sum of two squares, when you have a squared plus b squared, is going to be a plus bi times a minus bi. All right. Now, the thing I want to point out is, see the difference of two squares and the sum of two squares? The difference is you're going to have the I. See how this doesn't have the I, the difference, but this one has the I. All right, because of the plus, it needed an imaginary number. All right, in order for this to be addition. So again, the square root of 25x squared is 5x, and the square root of 16 is 4. So I have 5x plus 4i and 5x minus 4i. All right, a plus bi, a minus bi, okay? All right, right here, we have the leading coefficient of 1. So we're going to go and look at the constant. What are factors of the constant? And this is only because the leading coefficient is 1, guys. If the leading coefficient is 1, you can't do what I just did. All right, what I'm doing right now. So you have 36, the factors of 36, and the same factors I've got to add to give me negative 13. So let's see here. Factors of 36. You got 12 and 3. Excuse me. You have 9 and 4. All right, 9 and 4. So let's see. 9 times 4 and negative 9 times negative 4. All right. So 9 plus 4 is 13. Negative 9 plus negative 4, or negative 9 minus 4, it doesn't matter however you want to say it, it's negative 13. So these are our factors because we want to get negative 13, like right here. So now remember, see how this is x to the 4th? So we're going to go x squared minus 9 and x squared minus 4. Now, the thing I want to point out is, again, the difference of two squares again has popped up. Perfect square, this is a perfect square, so is 9. X squared is a perfect square, so is 4. So we're going to apply the a plus bi rule. A plus 3, a minus 3. All right, if you fold that back, you'll get x squared minus 9. Oh, I say 8, I meant x, guys. And right here, difference of perfect squares, x plus 2, x minus 2. All right, now we have the sum of two cubes. Let me write this in. Sum of cubes. All right, sum of cubes. Okay. So now, let's go ahead and first write out our equation. The sum of cubes, a cubed plus b cubed, all right, is a plus b times a squared squared. Now this right here comes from SOPs. Y'all remember that? Alright, SOPs meaning you have a plus b cubed, a cubed plus b cubed, or you have a plus b times a square the first term. Opposite sign, this O stands for opposite sign. See how this is a plus, so we have negative. Product, this is the product, a times b, plus, that's the next p, plus, and then b squared is square the last term, okay? So right here, the square root, or excuse me, the cube root of 3, excuse me, the cube root of x cubed is x. The cube root of 8y cubed is 2y. Alright. So now, what we have right here is square the first term, a squared. Then find, or minus, solves opposite sign. Then find the product of x times 2y is 2xy. And then you have the next p is plus. And then b squared is square the second term. Alright, so if you square 4y, you square everything, 4 and y. That's going to 2y. You square 2y. That's going to be 4y squared. Alright. There is your solution right there. Alright, now moving along over here. 3x cubed minus 3x squared minus 18x. Alright. First of all, we're going to factor out the GCF. The GCF in this case is going to be 3x. Alright, so because look, see how x is a part of every term. Alright, so we factor out 3x. We have x squared minus x minus 6. Alright, so now see how the leading coefficient is 1. So we take that constant, negative 6. What are the factors of negative 6 that add to give me negative 1x? Alright, so we have 3 times negative 2, and we have negative 3 times 2. So 3 minus 2 is 1. Negative 3 plus 2 is going to be negative 1. So there's our factors right there. Alright, there you go. GCF. Right there. Cool. Alrighty. Solve the equation by using the quadratic formula. Here's the quadratic formula. Okay. So, look at this quadratic right here. What's A? A is 4. What's B? B is 6. And C is 1. So what we have here, let me just plug it right into this equation. Negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 4, that's A, times C, which is 1. All over 2 times A. Alright. So now, I have negative 6 on the outside, plus or minus square root. 6 squared is 36, and then negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. I mean, yeah, negative 16 plus 1. So I have 36 minus 16 all over 8. 36 minus 16 is 20, so I have negative 6 plus or minus the square root of 20 all over 8. And now, when you look right here, square root of 20, right, square root of 20 right here, when you factor that, remember you got to factor this. So it's negative 6 plus or minus square root of 4 times the square root of 5 all over 8. So now look, I did this because I'm trying to make the square root of 20. Well, the square root of 4 is 2. So negative 6 plus or minus 2 square root of 5 all over 8. Now, we're almost done. See how everything on the outside of the parentheses, everything on the outside is divisible by 2. By 2. Alright? Alright, so with that being said, everything divided by 2, you have negative 3 plus or minus 1 square root of 5 all over 4. I divided everything by 2. Okay, so there you go. Alright. Now, that's number 8. Let's look at number 9. For number 9, again, A is 1, B is 3, and C is negative 9. But let me show you why. See how the constant is on the right side of the equal sign? What I need to do is move it back to this side, meaning you have x squared plus 3x minus 9 equals 0. That's where the negative 9 comes from for C. A, B, C. Okay? A is 1. See the 1 right there? Implied invisible 1. Okay? Now, we plug it into the quadratic formula. Negative 3 plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4 times A times C all over 2 times A, which is, 1. A is 1. Oh, man. There we go. Sorry about that. So, there we go right on. 2 times A. Sorry. Okay, we're back on track. Now, in the under the radical right here, we have negative 3 plus or minus 3 squared is 9, and negative 4 times negative 9 is going to actually be a positive 36 all over 2. Now, simplify this. You have 9 plus 36 is going to be the square root of 45 all over 2. Now, see this radical? We need to factor it. To factor it, we will have negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 times the square root of 5 all over 2. Now, the square root of 9 is 3, so I have negative 3 plus or minus 3 square root of 5 all over 2. Now, look at everything on the outside of the parentheses. They're not divisible by the same factor, so we're going to leave it like this. Final answer right there. Okay, those are our 2 answers. Okay, completed a square. With completing a square, you have right here completing the square. What we're first going to do is move the constant to the right side. So you have x squared minus 10x plus a space equals, again, minus 18 on both sides. Negative 9, like that. But I'm also going to put plus a space. See the space? If you put a space on the left, you have to put a space on the right. Just like when I subtracted 18 on the left, I subtract 18 on the right. Okay? Now, when you do this, completing the square, remember the equation b divided by 2 squared? Well, in this case, b is negative 10. So we're going to go negative 10 divided by 2 squared. So negative 10 divided by 2 is 5. Negative 5. And negative 5 squared is 25. Like that. Now, on the left side, we need to factor this. And factoring this is really easy. To factor this, all you gotta do is go and look right here. Look in the parentheses. This won't fail. Right here. What is negative 10 divided by 2? It's negative 5. So negative 5. And we're going to square that. If I factor this, x minus 5 squared. And on the right side, 25 minus 9 is 16. Now, we got to solve this for x. To do that, what you got to do is take the square root on both sides so I can rid this square, negate that. So that's x minus 5. And over here, you're going to get plus or minus 4. The square root of 16 is 4. Don't forget your plus or minus. Now, we're going to add 5 on both sides. Now, you have x equals, you have two answers. Positive 4 plus 5. And you have negative 4 plus 5. Those are our two answers right there. X equals 9 and 1. Alright. Alright. Let's jump to this other side. We're completing the square. On this side, right here, complete the square. Subtract 32. So you have x squared minus 14x plus a space equals negative 32 plus a space. Now, we have to use the equation b divided by 2 squared, and in this case, that's going to be negative 14 divided by 2 squared, which is negative 7 squared, which is 49. Okay. Now again, factor this left side. Remember, right here, divide that. Negative 14 divided by 2 is negative 7. Squared, right? Negative 7 squared. And that equals positive 17. Alright. 17 right there. Okay. 49 minus 32, 17. Now, to get rid of this square right here, we're going to take the square root on both sides. So x minus 7 equals plus or minus the square root of 17. So now we're going to add 7 on both sides. So you have x equals 7 plus or minus square root of 17. There we go, our two answers. 7 plus square root of 17 and 7 minus square root of 17. Alright. Solve this by factoring. Well, again, we have a trinomial, leading coefficient of 1. So we're going to go, what are the factors of negative 20 that will add to give me negative 1? So we have, let's see, 5 times negative 4. And we have negative 5 times 4. 5 minus 4 is 1. Negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1. Those are our factors. Now, because this is equal to 0 and it tells you right here solve, we're going to set each factor equal to 0 and solve it. Right here, plus 5 on both sides, you get x equals 5. Over here, subtract 4 on both sides. There we go. X equals 5, x equals negative 4. Now, over here, let's see here. Solving this one, look at your, see how the leading coefficient is not 1. So we're going to take our leading coefficient 2 and negative 3 and multiply them to get negative 6. And we need to figure out what factors of negative 6 will add to give me 5. Alright, so we're going to go, let's see, negative 2 plus, let's see, negative 2 times 3. Alright, how about, negative 6 and 1. or 6 and -1. That right there, 6 minus 1 is 5. So those are our factors. So what we have here is 2x squared plus 6x. And then we have 2x squared. Oh, write this twice because we're going to factor it. 2x squared times a -1x. I'm sorry. Nope. Yeah. 2x squared times. Alright. Now, what we're going to do here is we are going to now factor out the greatest common factor. So right here, factor out the GCF. The GCF is going to be 2x. And over here, factor out an x. So right here, when I divide everything by 2x, I have x plus 3. And over here, I have 2x minus 1. That is the factor of this. Now, because this is equal to 0, I set each factor equal to 0. Subtract 3, you get x equals -3. And over here, 2x minus 1 equals 0. Add 1. And then divide by 2. You get x equals 1/2. Those are 2x values right there. Right there. Alright. Next, find the discriminant and talk about the type of solutions. Remember when you looked at the quadratic formula? Let me go back. Here's a quadratic one right here. Now, with that being said, see that portion right there of the quadratic formula? Everything underneath the radical, b squared minus 4ac. I don't know why this won't click my highlighter, man. But anyway, b squared minus 4ac. That's what we want. That's what's important for the discriminant. Alright. Now, what I'm going to do is, first of all, see this has a greatest common factor of 4. I'm going to take out the greatest common factor of 4, meaning I have 4 times x squared minus 6x plus 9. Alright. I'm going to use this, alright, smaller values to find my discriminant, okay? So I have b was already -6. So -6 squared minus 4 times this a right here, which is 1, times c, which is 9. Alright, so I get 36 minus 4 times 9, which is 36. And when I get that equals 0. Now, because this is 0, what that means for my type of solution means I have 1 real 0. 1 real 0 that has a multiplicity of 2. Alright. Which means whatever 0 I get is going to be twice as a multiplicity of 2. Alright. Over here, a is 1, -6 is b, 5 is c. So we have -6 squared minus 4 times a times c. So we have 36 minus 20. Alright, 36 minus 20 is 16. Alright, 16 is a perfect square. Because this is a perfect square, alright, whenever your discriminant is a positive perfect square, that means you have 2 distinct rational zeros. 2 distinct rational zeros. Alright, 2 distinct rational zeros. Alright, man, that's it. This went way too long, honestly, but it's all good, man. Hopefully it helps. 30 minutes. Cool. Check out video 3. Unit 3 is next.